Hello, everyone.
Hello, teacher.
Wow, who said hello, teacher?
Me?
Who, Gloria? Are you
How are you,
alive?
teacher? I'm very tired today.
Ah?
I'm tired today.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Now I go again.
What? Hello, I'm not listening to you guys.
Hello, Roberto.
Hello, Oscar. How are you, my friend?
I'm fine. Thank you for asking you. And you? How are
I'm
you?
very well, thank you. Very well indeed. Okay, Vanessa, how are you, my dear?
Hi, teacher. I'm very well. And you?
I'm good. How are things in Guarapari? Is everything hot there?
Yes, very hot today.
Okay, good. All right. Cecilia, Gislaine. Okay. I think everyone is here. Hi, Carol. Hi, Mario. I hope you guys are doing okay.
How are you?
I'm very well. And you, Carol?
I'm okay, teacher. Thanks.
Any news? Good news?
I know, teacher.
No.
No
Okay.
news.
No news. Sometimes no news is good news.
It's good. Yes.
Yeah. Sure.
Yes. Sometimes no news is good news. Okay. Cecilia, how are things in Salvador, my dear? Good? I think she's
Hi,
eating.
teacher.
Ah, you're not eating?
No.
I thought
It's
you were.
rainy day today.
It's
Here in Salvador.
rainy.
Yes.
Okay.
Not good.
That's no good. Yes. Okay. Well, yesterday we heard a very interesting passage. Today I'd like to finish discussing that. Okay?
Okay.
Was it difficult in your opinion or it was okay?
It was okay.
For me, okay.
Okay. How about you, Camila? Was it okay for you?
Yes, okay.
Good. So I'm going to share my screen, okay? You can see here, let me make it a little bit bigger because it's also difficult for me to see it. Okay, so as we usually do, I'm going to play it one more time. I'd like you to follow. But you don't need me, you have the closed captions, the subtitles, okay? So maybe it's even better if you can see the woman and you can read the subtitles, okay? But the important thing is to try to read, to follow, to understand, to get the rhythm, okay? That's the most important part.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
So let me share my screen. Let's listen one more time so that we can talk about it, read and talk about it. Okay. Let me know if the sound is okay, if you can see okay, if everything is okay.
Sound not
No
okay.
sound. Yeah.
Sound, okay.
Job or dream.
Okay, and now. It's not speaking yet, okay? Just need to wait 1 sec.
It's
Now
okay.
it's okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
How many of you can speak 2 languages?
I do.
Most of you can. We are in Europe, after all.
Yes.
Now, let me ask you this. How many of you would say that you are completely fluent in 2 languages so that you could take a job or dream in either one of them?
I can.
Not as many. Why is that? I think we can all agree that being fluent in 2 languages is a good thing. It creates additional job prospects. It allows us to talk to more people. It also has been linked to several cognitive and social advantages, and it delays the onset of Alzheimer's disease. So why are we not all fluent bilinguals? Those of us who studied foreign languages in school probably remember how hard it was and how much we struggled. I'm certainly speaking from experience here. I started learning English when I was about 10 years old, in school, right here in Ljubljana. And about 9 years later, when I went to study in the United States, I thought my English was pretty good. I was able to do my homework just fine. But I also remember eating dinner with my college friends and not being able to follow their conversations. Or going on my first date in America and only understanding about half of what the guy was telling me. Now, I'm sure many of you have your own stories about foreign language learning, but there's one thing that most of these stories have in common. Foreign language learning is hard. It takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, and it seems that no matter how hard we try, we rarely achieve native-like fluency. Even in those cases when we have been using our foreign language for years, we still maintain that foreign accent. Does it have to be this hard? I don't think it does. What I'll tell you today is that the human brain is fully capable of achieving native fluency in 2 languages at the same time, and that we don't necessarily have to struggle to get there. So, what is it that we have to do to create bilingual minds? I think a very promising start is to study the brains of those who are really, really good at language learning. Babies. Babies are linguistic geniuses, and all over the world, babies learn their native languages naturally and spontaneously without anybody actually teaching them how to do this. But this gets even better. Those babies who have a chance to listen to and interact in 2 languages learn both, and they can become native speakers of both. You and I can't do that. And computers can't do that either. So why and how are babies so good at language learning? I'm a researcher at the University of Washington's Institute for Learning and Brain Sciences, ILABS for short. And I study the brain processing of language in babies between 0 and 3 years of age. I focus specifically on those babies who are learning 2 languages at the same time, bilingual babies. The approach that we take to study the baby brain is called magnetoencephalography, MEG for short. We call it the hairdryer from Mars. But it's important to understand that this machine is actually completely safe, non-invasive, and completely silent. So, pretty baby-friendly. We use magnetoencephalography to study the baby brains, and the MEG machine that we have at our institute is actually one of the few in the world that's configured specifically for babies. We also have a team of trained research assistants whose job is to keep the babies happy and entertained when we study their brains. One question that we recently studied with MEG was, what goes on in the brains of those babies who grow up in households where 2 languages are spoken at the same time by native speakers? If we look at these babies' brains before the babies even begin to talk, are they different from those of babies who listen to a single language? Here's how we tested these questions. We brought the babies into the lab. Half of them were from bilingual families where one parent was a native speaker of Spanish and the other one was a native speaker of English. The other half of the babies were from families where both parents were native English speakers, so English was the only language spoken in the household. Then, to prepare the babies for MEG, we used a special digitizing pen and a hat. And what this procedure allows us to do is to track the shape of the baby's head so that we can then continuously monitor the baby's motions when the head is in the MEG helmet. We then brought the babies into the MEG room where they sat on a special high chair. The head goes right into the MEG helmet and the parents sit right next to them when we look at their brains. During the MEG studies, the babies typically listen to the sounds of language. In this case, the sounds came from Spanish and English. So let's take a listen to see what that sounded like.
Ta, 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 ta.
Some of these sounds are specific to English, some are specific to Spanish, and some are common to both languages. All babies in these studies were exactly 11 months old. This is typically right around the time when babies begin to produce their first words, but they're not really speaking yet. So, what did we find? What we found was that the brains of monolingual babies were specialized to process the sounds of English, their native language, and were not specialized to process the sounds of Spanish, the language to which these babies were not exposed. What about the brains of bilingual babies? Well, as it turns out, the brains of bilingual babies were specialized to process the sounds of both languages, Spanish and English. So what does this mean, and why am I so excited about this? What this means is that the baby brain specializes to process whatever language or languages are present in the environment. The brains of those babies who listen to one language specialize to process one language. But the brains of those babies who listen to two languages specialize to process two. There's one more finding in this study that I'd like to tell you about. There's a part of the brain called the prefrontal cortex. It's highlighted in green in this schematic that you can see. But it's right here in the very front of your brain. And we use this part of the brain to direct our attention, to switch back and forth between doing different tasks and to think flexibly. I think we can all agree that these are extremely important tasks to do in the 21st century. We were curious to see how the two groups of babies compared in terms of their brain activity in these prefrontal areas. Interestingly, what we found was that the bilingual babies had stronger brain activity, stronger brain responses to language sounds, specifically in these prefrontal regions. Now, why would that be? One explanation is that the constant switching back and forth between two different languages provides exercise for the brain. That it strengthens these brain networks that participate in attention switching, and that this provides a cognitive boost to the bilinguals. Many other studies have actually shown that bilingual children, but also bilingual adults, have advantages when it comes to tasks that require cognitive flexibility. But what's particularly intriguing here is that we see brain differences, specifically in these areas that are related to flexible thinking at 11 months of age, before these babies are even speaking. So, our studies have shown that the baby brain is fully capable of specializing in two languages at the same time, and that there are possibly some additional advantages that come along with this for free. So, given these findings, you may be wondering, why are we not raising all babies to be bilingual? There has to be a disadvantage here that I'm not telling you about. Some people think so. One common concern is that bilingualism slows language learning down, that it makes it slower. Research doesn't actually support this. Instead, what studies have shown is that if we consider the patterns in bilingual learning, they're actually very, very similar to what we see in monolingual learning. For example, bilingual babies start producing their first sounds as well as their first words at the same age as monolingual babies. We also know that if we give bilingual children credit for each word that they know across their two languages, their vocabularies are of the same size, if not bigger, than those of monolingual babies. Another common concern is that bilingualism causes confusion. This concern arises from the fact that bilinguals sometimes combine their two languages in the same sentence or in the same situation. This is called code switching or code mixing. So, does code switching or code mixing indicate confusion? Science suggests that it does not. Most bilinguals code switch, and my family is not an exception. In my family, we actually speak 3 languages, and Sometimes we hear sentences from our children that combine all three, Slovene, Spanish, and English. Does this mean that our children are confused? I don't think it does. So let me give you an example to demonstrate why this is the case. My 4-year-old will sometimes say sentences like, "Mom, is daddy potušem?" This means mom is daddy in the shower. Now, why does he say sentences like this? There are a few reasons. The first one is that he can. Bilinguals, unlike monolinguals, have another language from which they can easily borrow words. And they sometimes do this because they know words from one language sometimes better than they do in the other. So for example, my son probably knows the word shower better in Slovene than he does in English. So he uses it because it's easier. The second reason he uses sentences like this is that he knows I will understand him. He rarely uses Slovene words in his preschool because he knows that his teachers and his friends will have no idea what he's talking about. Bilingual children typically know very, very well when they can and can't mix their languages, and studies have shown that even 2-year-olds will adapt their language to match that of their conversational partner. There's one final point about code mixing that I'd like to make. Even though it's called mixing, it's not just randomly mixing together words from different languages. It follows grammatical rules. I rarely hear sentences such as, "Mom, is daddy potuš?" Now, those of us who are fluent speakers of Slovene and English will know that I can say, "Daddy goes potuš," but "daddy is potuš" doesn't work. It has to be potušem. This is because the verb be indicates a state, and in Slovene it requires a different case than the verb go, which indicates motion. This is complicated, right? The point is this: code mixing is not easy. It requires a lot of linguistic knowledge in both languages, as well as then being able to figure out how to combine this knowledge in a meaningful way. So rather than indicating confusion, code mixing is actually a sign of linguistic sophistication. It's also a perfectly normal and expected behavior that we see in bilingual children, but also in bilingual adults who are fully fluent in both languages. So bilingualism does not cause confusion. It also does not slow language learning down. In fact, science suggests that there are many advantages. The demand on bilingual education is actually increasing in the United States as well as worldwide. People are also beginning to realize that starting from an early age may be the best solution, because we know that at birth, the human brain is just as capable of learning 2 languages as it is to learn 1. So, what should we do? How can we provide all babies with an opportunity to learn 2 languages from a very young age? In families like mine, the answer is straightforward, because parents are native speakers of languages that are different from what the child hears outside of the home. But what about everybody else? As a child language development specialist, I often hear from parents who are eager to provide their baby with an opportunity to learn another language, but they're not native speakers of that language, and they can't afford to hire a nanny who's a native speaker of that language. Some parents think that their baby may be able to learn a foreign language by watching television. Unfortunately, this is not the case. Older children may be able to learn some foreign language words from electronic media, but babies learn languages through play, through frequent social interactions with live human beings who are fully competent and comfortable users of that target language. So really, the question comes down to this: can we create environments within public education through which all babies will be able to learn foreign languages from a very early age? If we start very, very early, how much and what kind of language exposure is needed to create a truly bilingual mind? From research, we know that babies can learn foreign languages surprisingly quickly. But at the same time, we also know that the type of language they hear is critical in determining how much they will learn and how quickly they will learn. So can we make this work? We think that we can. From research, we know that there are 6 principles, 6 ingredients, if you will, that grow children's language. We think that if we take the right science-based approach that combines these 6 ingredients, we can create educational programs through which all babies will be able to learn foreign languages through play in the context of public early education centers. We recently started to test this idea in one of the European capitals where the government is very excited to promote foreign language learning for all babies from birth. The results of these studies are extremely exciting and extremely promising, so stay tuned. We think that this approach has the potential to change the game for bilingual education. We're hoping to scale it up so that it will one day allow all babies to reach their full potential and to start learning 2 languages from a very young age. Thank you. Hvala.
Teacher, what
Yes.
6 ingredients? I don't see.
She didn't actually mention. I will
No.
discover for you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
the
I'm
principles
curious.
she
I'm curious
don't
about you.
mention.
I'm
Okay.
curious about
There are
you.
3 types of
Yeah,
people in
me
life.
too.
Goal
Okay,
setters,
I
problem
will.
solvers.
Let me stop this. I will try to discover. I will do some
Thank you.
research. She
Thank you.
didn't mention. She just said there are 6.
Yes.
Okay.
But
But
don't
let's
talk
understand.
about. Yeah.
Exactly. I will discover. Okay. I can
Okay,
do
thank
some
you.
search tomorrow. Okay. And I will discover what are the 6 ingredients that she mentioned. Okay.
The first is do classes with teacher Roberto. Oh. How can I say puxa saco in English?
Okay. There are many expressions. Would you like to know all of them or just the good ones?
The good ones, teacher, for sure.
Okay, I will tell you the good ones. Let me share
Okay.
something here. And actually, they are all funny.
Polish ball, no? One of them?
No, apple.
No? Ah, polish apple, okay.
No, apple polisher.
Ah, apple polish. Ah, teacher, almost.
Apple polisher is a good one. Bootlicker is another one. These are the good ones, okay?
Okay.
I can use them as a verb, like stop apple polishing me, okay?
Okay.
Or stop bootlicking him, okay?
Okay.
All right?
Right.
These are very good ones. You can use it in a business scenario, no problem, okay?
Perfect.
Thank you very much for apple polishing me. I really like that, okay? But anyway, let's read and understand, and tomorrow we'll discover the 6 principles.
Thank you.
Thank you, teacher.
Yes. I was surprised too. She just said there are, but where are they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. But at least you understood, right?
Yeah,
I think
yesterday.
What are?
Sorry.
Pode falar. I think
Yeah.
that I don't understand, you know?
Yeah, me too. Yesterday, I thought that I missed some part of the speech.
You see, that's why it's always good to listen twice. Okay.
Yes.
Let's read this. Okay, let me see who is gonna start. I will always give preference to the ones with the windows, the camera open. So Maria da Gloria, can you start reading for us, please? Gloria, I know you're tired, but is it possible for you to read this part for us?
Internet is good today, teacher. Hello,
Are
you
there-
can hear me? You can hear me, teacher.
Now, yes. But I think your internet is no good. Now you're frozen. Hello. She's frozen.
It's not good.
No.
Hello,
Carol, can
teacher.
Yes, Gloria.
You
were
can hear me.
Yeah. No.
I
Yes. No.
Yeah, the internet is very bad today.
Yes.
I can listen you perfectly, but
Well, can
Now
you
it's
try
okay,
to
Gloria.
read?
Now it's
Can you
okay.
try to read? If you freeze, I will ask somebody else to continue, okay?
yes.
Just read it. How many of you?
How many of you can speak two languages? Most of you can. We are in Europe after all. Now, let me ask you this. How many of you would say that you are completely fluent in two languages so that you could take a job or dream in either one of them? Not as many.
Yeah, you can finish this page. Why is that?
Yes?
Why is that?
Why is that? I think we can all agree that being fluent in two languages is a good thing. It creates additional job prospects. It allows us to talk to more people. It also has been linked to several cognitive and social advantages and is delays the onset of Alzheimer's disease.
Okay. Thank you, Gloria. Any question about this part or no?
No.
Onset.
No.
The beginning,
Onset. Okay.
the starting of the process. Okay?
Teacher, cognitive, cognitive or cognitive?
Cognitive.
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 Cognitive and social advantages. Yes. Any other question about this part or no?
No.
No.
Okay, let me drop down the page. Okay. Okay, Oscar, can you read this part for us?
Sure. So, why are we not all fluent bilinguals? Those of us who studied foreign language in school probably remember how hard it was and how much we struggled. I'm certainly speaking from experience here. I started learning English when I was about 10 years old in school, right here in
Lithuania.
Ljubljana, yeah?
Lithuania.
Lithuania?
Yes. It's
Lithuania.
Lithuania. Yeah, Lithuania.
Okay. And about 9 years later, when I went to study in the United States, I thought my English was pretty good.
Pretty good.
Pretty good. I was able to do my homework. Also remember eating dinner with my colleague, friends, and not being able to follow their conversations, or going on my first date in America on only understanding about half of what the guy was telling me. Now, I'm sure many of you have your own stories about foreign language learning, but there is one thing that most of these stories have in common. Foreign language learning is hard. It takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, and it seems that a matter how
No
hard,
matter.
how matter,
No matter. No matter.
no matter how hard we try. We really
Achieve native-like
achieve
fluency.
native like fluency, even in those cases when you have been using our foreign language for years. We still maintain that foreign accent.
Yes. Thank you, Oscar. Any question about this part?
Yes, struggled.
Struggle is to fight, to struggle, to fight. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Difficult to find a perfect size here that fits in the window. Another question? I would say that her English was pretty good because she was able to understand about 50% of what her date told her. I was able to understand less than 1%. Okay, so
Teacher, it's funny because I understand many words, but all context is difficult to understand. You know,
you mean from the passage or from listening?
from the passage.
Yeah, the important is to understand the idea behind the context. Yes, so this is important, okay?
Okay.
She said, like here, in short, I could say that she had studied English for a long time, and when she went to the United States, she thought her English was good. She could do her homework very well. But outside school, that was another story. She couldn't understand a conversation in a restaurant. She couldn't understand what her date was telling her. Understand?
Yeah.
And here, I'd like to make a pause and maybe talk about something very important. Sometimes people say, I can understand my teacher very well, but when I listen to a music, when I listen to two Americans talking, it's difficult to understand. You have to consider one thing. I'm a teacher. I'm giving a class. I'm not having a normal conversation with you guys. Understand? That's the point. Okay? For the ones that have already had the experience of studying outside Brazil, you can stop and think. Your teachers in the classroom, of course, they would always talk at a certain pace. Outside the classroom, that's another story. You know, when you're teaching, I have been trained to talk in a certain way with you guys. Understand? In a way that you'll be able to understand what I'm saying. But if we are talking outside here, if we are in a bar, especially after a few drinks, of course, the pace of talking will be different. Understand?
Yeah.
And that's why she could understand her classes, she could do her homework, but she couldn't understand her friends outside school. She couldn't even understand the guy that she had her first date with. Okay?
Okay.
And this, in a certain way, it's okay. It's not bad. Okay? You see, does it have to be this hard? No, I don't think it does. Okay? Any other question about this part or no?
Teacher,
Yes.
I know what is native, but a question, because why is used native like?
Similar
Together?
to a native. Similar to a
Yes,
native.
my question, what is used the like in this case? Is not sufficient native?
No, because a native speaker is a guy that only speaks that language. Understand?
Yeah.
Like an American that was born in the USA,
Yeah.
grew up in the USA, and speaks only English. He's a native speaker of English.
Okay.
In my case, I'm a native-like speaker of English. I can speak just like an American, but I'm not an American. Understand?
Okay, I understand.
So in this case, she's saying we rarely achieve native-like fluency. That means a fluency similar to a native speaker.
Okay.
Okay.
Now I know. Now I know.
Okay, good. Marcela, can you read this next part for me until language learning here?
Yes, sure. What I tell you today is that the human brain is fully
Capable?
capable of achieving native fluency in two languages at the same time, and that we don't necessarily have to struggle to get there. So what is it that we have to do to create bilingual minds?
Minds.
I think a very promising
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 start.
start is to study the brains of those who Ai, eu vou ficando nervosa.
You're reading so well, baby.
Who are really, really good at language learning. Babies. Babies are babies. Babies are language geniuses and
Geniuses.
geniuses
The plural of genius. Geniuses.
geniuses, and all over the world, babies learn their native language naturally and
Spontaneously.
spontaneously, without anybody actually teaching them how to do this. But this gets even better. Those babies who have a chance to listen to and interact in two
In two
languages
languages.
learn both, and they can become native speakers of both. You and I can't
Can't
do
do that.
that, and computers can't do that either. So why and how are babies so good at language learning?
Okay. Any question about this part or no?
No.
No.
No questions at all?
Yeah.
Excellent. Carol, can you read this part for me, please?
Yes. I am
It's funny.
researching.
She's a researcher at the same university I went to.
Yes.
Really, teacher?
Yes, University of Washington, Seattle. Yeah, I never met her. I think she's much younger than me. And I was not her first date, unfortunately.
Can I read, teacher?
Yes, I'm just
Okay.
waiting for you.
Okay. I am a researcher at University of Washington's Institute for Learning and Brain Science. iLabs for short, and I study the brain processing of language in babies between 0 and 3 years of age. I focus specifically on those babies who are learning two languages at the same time, bilingual babies.
Bilingual.
Bilingual babies. The approach that we take to study the baby brain is called MEG for sure.
Big word, big word.
Oh, come on.
Magnetoencephalography, okay? MEG.
Blah, blah, blah. Okay.
Magnetoencephalography.
Yes.
Oh.
Vanessa has a machine like this in her living room, okay?
You call it the hair dryer from Mars. But it is important to understand that this machine is actually completely safe, no invasive,
Invasive.
and completely silent, so pretty baby friendly.
Yeah.
Invasive.
So pretty baby friendly, okay? Yeah, depending on the intonation you give here, we understand so pretty baby is not so pretty. It's so pretty.
Pretty baby friendly.
Baby friendly, understand? That means it's friendly to the babies, okay?
Yeah.
And pretty here is not pretty babies, it's very baby friendly, okay? Any question about this part?
Dryer, teacher.
Oh, that's easy to explain, my darling. When you have a long, beautiful blonde hair, right?
All right.
Yes,
More
I've
or
seen
less.
it. Yeah, I've seen it only once. You don't give me the pleasure of seeing it more often, but that's okay. Anyway, when you wash your hair, don't you use a hair dryer to dry your hair, like,
Mm,
or you dry it naturally?
Sometimes,
It's a
naturally.
machine.
Yes. Yeah, your teacher doesn't even have a hair dryer because I don't need,
Me too,
okay?
me too, teacher.
He,
A
Okay.
long time ago, só
Oscar,
daí.
we are eco-friendly to the planet,
Yes,
understand?
yes.
Yeah,
You are my brother.
we don't want to spend the energy with these, understand?
Yes.
Understand? Hair dryer.
Yes, teacher. Thank you.
Okay, good. Any other question or no?
No.
It's
Okie doke.
okay.
No.
Let's go. Regina, can you read this part for me? We use mag. You can say mag. Don't even worry about saying magnencephalography. That you never use this word in your entire life.
We use magnencephalography to
Ah,
study the baby
Oh,
brains.
that was perfect. She
yes,
trained it for
yes.
10 minutes.
Yes.
We study the baby brains and the MAG machine that we have at our institute is actually one of the few in the world that's configured specifically
Specifically for babies.
for babies. We also have a team of trained research assistants
Assistants.
whose job is to keep the babies happy and entertained when we study their
Brains.
brains. One question that we recently studied with MEG was what what goes on in the brains of those babies who grow up in households
Households.
households where two languages are spoken at the same time by
Native speakers.
native speakers. If you look at these babies' brains before the babies even began to talk, are they different from those of babies who listen to a single language? Here's how we tested the questions.
These questions.
These questions. We brought the babies into the lab.
Thank you, Regina. Any question about this part or no?
Households.
This, if you forget about the holds, you understand?
No.
You don't understand the word houses?
Houses, yes.
Yes, it's practically the same. Oh, what goes in the brains of those babies who grow up in houses where two languages? But when you say house, it doesn't mean that there is a family there, understand? When a family occupies a house, usually you say in households where two languages are spoken, understand? But
Okay.
it has the same meaning. In Portuguese, we would not have a different word, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Any other
Teacher,
question?
brought? What is this? Where is it?
We brought.
We
Past tense
brought.
of the verb to bring.
Ah, okay. Okay.
Bring back, oh, bring back my Bonnie to me, to me. Okay, no more questions?
No.
Labby.
Yes, lab is for short, teacher.
What?
The
Last word. Lab.
last
Lab is the abbreviation for laboratory.
Yeah,
Ah, okay.
a nickname.
Yes. Like plane for airplane, watch for wristwatch, tie for necktie. Okay. They love abbreviating everything.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Cecilia, can you read this next part for me, please? Half of them were.
Okay. Half of them were from bilingual families where one parent was native speaker of Spanish and the other one was native speaker of English. The other half of the babies were from families where both parents were native English speakers, so English was the only language spoken in the household. Then, to prepare the babies from Meg, we used those special digitizing pen and a hat. And what this procedure allows us to do is to track the shape of the baby's head. So that we can then continuously monitor the baby's motions.
Don't worry about reading. If you make a mistake, I will correct you. Just continue. Monitor the baby's motions.
When the head is the Meg helmet. We then brought the babies into the Meg room where they sat on a special high chair. The head goes right into the Meg helmet and the parents sit right next to them when we look at their brains.
Okay. Any question about this part?
Yes.
Helmet.
To track the shape, the helmet.
Okay. In the movie that they show it, when they were putting like a plastic thing in the baby's head, a woman was just going around the head with a special pen. She was just marking the shape of the head, understand? So the machine would be able to track those areas that she marked, understand?
Yeah, I saw.
That was a digital pen, okay? And a hat, okay? And to track is to follow, okay? This is to track the shape, to mark, and then you can follow, okay? Observe, analyze all the different areas of the head of the baby. Without those digital marks, the machine could not recognize the baby's head, okay? Understand, Regina?
Yes, teacher, I understand now.
Okay. Another helmet is like when you are driving a motorcycle or when you're riding a motorcycle, they always say that you have to wear a helmet all the time to protect your head in case of an accident, understand? That's a helmet, okay? So when they sit the child in the MAG machine, the head goes inside of a helmet, okay? That is capable of reading the brain of the child, okay? Another question or no?
No.
Okay. Ghislaine, can you read this part for me, please? The part that is in yellow.
Yes, teacher. Half of them were from bilingual families, where one parent was an
Have we read this part already?
Yes, teacher.
I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry. I think I forgot to go down. Okay, it's yes.
Some of this.
Yes, it's this part here.
Okay.
During the MAG studies,
the babies typically listen to the sounds of language. In this
ba,
case,
ba, ba. Remember the machine was
Yeah.
ba, ba, ba.
In this case, the sounds came from Spanish and English. So let's take a listen to see what that sounded like.
Ba, 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 ba.
Some of these sounds are specific to English, some are specific to Spanish, and some are common to both languages. All babies in these studies were exactly 11 months old. This is typically right around the time when babies begin to produce their first words, but they're not really speaking yet. So what did we think?
What did we find?
We find. Pardon.
Any question about this part or no?
No.
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 Okay, Camila, can you read this part for me here, please? The part that is in green.
Okay. What we found was that the brains of monolingual babies were specialized to process the sounds of English, their native language, and were not specialized to process the sounds of Spanish, the language to which these babies were not exposed. What about the brains of bilingual babies?
Bilingual.
Bilingual babies? Well, as it turns out, the brains of bilingual babies were specialized to process the sounds of both languages, Spanish and English. So, what does this mean, and why am I so excited about this? What this means is that the baby brain specializes to process whatever language or languages are present in the environment. The brains of those babies who listen to one language specialize to process one language.
Language.
But the brains of those babies who listen to two languages specialize to process two.
And the same would happen with 3, 4, or 5. It depends on how many languages they are exposed to. Understand? I read the biography of the guy that founded the English school, Berlitz. Have you ever heard about this school, Berlitz?
I know.
Yes.
Yeah, the original founder, I don't know if he is dead or alive. I read that by the age of 6, 7, he could speak 5 languages fluently.
Wow.
Yeah, but he had a mother from one country, a father from another country, a nanny from another country, a grandfather from another country, and a grandmother from another country.
Wow.
It's very good.
And everyone spoke to him in different languages. And he was able to learn all of them.
Wow.
Understand? So it's not important how many languages you are exposed to. If you are exposed, you will learn, okay?
Okay.
Any question about this?
No.
Okay, unfortunately, we got to stop here, all right? We will continue tomorrow. And if you have a chance, try to read this at home so it will make easier to ask me questions. And Marcela, try to read and understand the context, the idea that is behind this, not only the words, because it is important, okay?
Okay, teacher.
I'll see you girls, I'll see you guys tomorrow at the same time, all right? Bye-bye for now.
Thank you, Roberto.
See you.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye. Good evening.
Bye-bye.
Good evening, you too.
everyone.
Bye-bye now.
See you
Bye,
tomorrow.
Gloria. Hope to see you
Bye,
better
teacher.
tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Yes.